welcome to our nightly newscast on Meet the Press. I'm Jenica.
And I'm Valerie. Our subject today is the anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War.
The anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War was April 3rd, 35 years after the war ended in 1975. The war lasted for about 11 years, making it the longest war that America has ever seen.
This war was also probably the most controversial war that America has ever fought in. This war single-handedly split American sentiments down the middle, with those on either side fighting vigorously for the war to end. However, one side wanted the war to end through pullback of American troops, and the other wanted the war to end by sending more troops to crush the communist Viet Cong. A lot has changed since the end of the Vietnam War, so let's see some videos of how it is now.
You'd think these kids would have nothing to sing about. They carry a range of physical and mental disabilities and live an extremely underprivileged life. Yet the words of a simple Vietnamese nursery rhyme brings happiness to their blighted world. Vietnam says they are victims of Agent Orange, the chemical dioxin that rained down from American planes during the war. America says it cannot be scientifically proved. There are two centres like this in Da Nang, both of them basic and catering for only 100 youngsters out of the estimated 5,000 Agent Orange victims in the city. Da Nang was one of three main bases where the United States stored Agent Orange. Results of a joint American-Vietnamese scientific investigation have shown there are still large quantities of the dioxin in the surrounding area. Some samples showed levels 400 times above acceptable amounts. This is Da Nang Air Base, which is now in the hands of the Vietnamese military, but during the war, it was one of the main US bases, and from here they used to fly missions to drop Agent Orange over huge swathes of South Vietnam. 75 million litres, in fact, were dropped in total, causing widespread destruction. But when the planes came back, they used to jettison the remainder of the dioxin in these lakes and surrounding countryside, and that, according to the Vietnamese, has seeped into the ecosystem, and it's affecting every new generation. Extracting the dioxin from the environment and providing adequate care, facilities and equipment is an expensive business for a poor country.
We have a plan to clean up the dioxin in the soil, but that costs us a lot of money. We need help.
But maybe help is coming. Up until now, the United States, while refusing to accept responsibility, has donated only $3 million to help the disabled. But this year they've agreed to give $15 million and is seriously considering a recommendation to give $300 million over the next 10 years. It represents a significant change of heart.
My name's Gareth Buchanan.
Alright, and you're a Vietnam War veteran, right?
Yeah.
What was your life like before the war?
I was a freshman in college, enjoying life, spending time with my friends. No serious girlfriend at the time.
Very nice. When the Vietnam War began, how did you react or become involved in the war?
I didn't really know much about the war. In the beginning, we were uncertain about the facts, but I decided to enlist. My cousin was killed over there.
What was it like for you during the war?
It was a tough time. Some of my friends, family and friends understood and supported me going to Vietnam, but some were angry and against me enlisting. I lost some friendship, but gained others. My parents worried, especially when I was injured. I was hit in the arm and shoulder with a shrapnel. I remember being thankful that I didn't lose my arm. But to be honest, I was relieved to be out of the war zone while my wounds healed. But I didn't want to leave my buddies.
How did you feel when the war was over?
Oh, I was glad the war was over. It had destroyed so much through the fighting and use of drugs. It was a relief that families could be together again. Sad for those who would never return. We lost a lot of good guys. That's tough. It numbs you.
What did you do with yourself after the war?
I went back to college, graduated, and got a good job with IBM. I got married, 3 kids. The only physical effects are occasional aches, pains in my shoulder. Mentally, I've learned a lot with memories and images of Nam. Only another vet understands what it was like, but rarely talk about it to each other. my wife and children understand that, but I know they want to ask what it was like over there. It was hell.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming and spending time with us and giving us this very personal
Thank you so much for joining us this night. Stay tuned for our local news.